Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com, and today I want to talk to you about how you are the creator of your own reality, not other people's reality. In Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23, it says, "Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." Talking about your life. And one of the things that sometimes gets people tangled up into not controlling their own lives is when they start focusing on other people. Other people are doing this. This person said this person did that. You can't control other people's behavior. And as long as you're focused outwardly on them and what they're doing or not doing, and critiquing and judging what they're doing and what you think they're supposed to be doing or should be doing it differently or better, you'll never get your life under control and going the way you want it to. In my book, Co-Creators with God, I deal with this issue of how Jesus taught about be therefore perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. So the goal, that's where you're striving for. And when you're doing that, you're focusing on perfecting yourself, walking in the light as He is in the light, being led by the Spirit. You don't have time to focus on critiquing other people and challenging what they're doing all the time and being all wrapped up in what they're doing. Now, sometimes as compassionate people, things can get warped a little where you'll convince yourself that you're being compassionate, you're being loving by being concerned about how these people are living their lives. The reality is you're being a busybody. The reality is you're being nosy, and you're not behaving like Jesus behaved. You're not living like He did. Because I encourage you, go back and read the Gospels. Read how He interacted with people. He wasn't going around pointing out, well, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you need to do this differently, you need to do that differently. He did teach, and outside the exception of the scribes, Pharisees, and lawyers who were being rebuked because of the evil they were perpetrating on the individual people, look at how He interacted with the average person. He wasn't going around pointing out flaws and fault finding. And since He's our example, since we're Christians, we're following Christ, we're like Christ. That's what we want to be imitating. And being like our Father in heaven, we want to be perfect, or as close to perfect as we can get. And one of the ways is to take control of your reality. That's why I wrote in my book, Co-Creators with God, about striving for that perfection that Jesus said, "Be therefore perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect." When you are focused on making sure that you, through the new birth, are walking in the light, you're pure, you're righteous, you're doing the right things, you're thinking the right thoughts. And that's the hang up many people have. They may not be going out actively sinning, they may not be omitting things they're supposed to be doing and sinning, but in their mind, they're thinking negative thoughts, they're thinking doubtful thoughts, they're sometimes even in unbelief. And one of the clearest ways you can tell that is by looking at your life, examining your life. What is going on in your life? How are things unfolding? Is this what you want? Because if it's not, then there's a 100% guarantee your thought life is not in control. It's not reined in. It's important that you control what you say, how you speak, you control your tongue. But before it even gets to you speaking, you have to control your thought life. You have to control what you speak. As Jesus said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. And this is what Proverbs 4:23 says, that keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Not just what you speak, but the issues of life. Your life and the events and the circumstances and surroundings and things going on and how you're affected by things is a direct result of your thought and your heart. That is one of the reasons why I stress Philippians 4:8 so much. I know sometimes people get tired of hearing about that, but that's the reality. You have to focus on that. And let me quote Philippians 4:8 to you again, because it's very important that you understand this. Don't just hear me, I talk about Philippians 4:8 and you don't really know exactly what the verse says. It says this: "Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things." That is what your thought life is supposed to be involving. things of good report, things that are honest, things that are true, things that are just, things that are pure, things that are lovely. Let's really focus in on that lovely part. If you're thinking about wars, if you're thinking about viruses, if you're thinking about illnesses, if you're thinking about the negative news and negative politics and all these things, are you thinking about lovely things? No, of course not. The problem for that is that because you're doing that, because you're not thinking about those things that are lovely, you're thinking about all the rest of these things, what is going to happen in your life? Because out of that heart that you're not keeping with all diligence is flowing the issues of life. And that's not what most people want. But if your life is consisting of you not getting what you want in life, then you need to make some changes. And those changes have to begin with your thought life. Because I've never met a single person who is having things go in a way they don't want them to go, whose thought life is in check, who is keeping their heart with all diligence. My friend, if you'll focus on that and truly get into that, and I wrote a little booklet if you want to get it, it'll help you with that. It's very short, but it gets to the point. It's called the 7-Day Positivity Diet. Now, obviously, you're supposed to go beyond 7 days, but the point is that if you try this for 7 days, you really focus on Philippians 4:8, and you follow it in everything. And if a thought comes in that's not in line with Philippians 4:8, with things that are true and honest and just and pure and lovely and good report and virtuous and praiseworthy, then you get rid of it. You just immediately cast it down. You don't beat yourself up because that's not thinking positively. That's not thinking about true and honest good things. So you get rid of it. You say, oh, okay, I don't want to think about that. You move to the things that are true, the things that are lovely, things that are of good report, things that are pure. And this is one of the ways of conforming to the Lord, conforming to His Word, by not getting caught up in the things of the world, not getting focused on the evil of the world, not getting wrapped up. And see, sometimes, obviously, with being compassionate, you see things going on around you that are evil and they're not good, and you feel that you need to focus on them. That's somehow going to get it solved, the problem solved. And yet, all it does is perpetrate it more. Look at anything that the world has went to war with, either war with drugs or war with poverty or whatever. What has happened? Those things haven't diminished, they've increased, because the focus has been focused on those things and they've gotten more of it. But if you'll focus on the goodness, the good things, and do what you can do to help things that are not so good, that are not going the way you want them to, but you bring that good, positive, pure, lovely focus, you'll bring about a better reality for not just yourself, but for other people. But you have to understand that you can't control everyone else's reality, what everyone else is doing, how everyone else is behaving, how everyone else is experiencing life, because they have the same objective of keeping their heart with all diligence. And if they don't, the issues of life that they're experiencing is a response to that. You can teach if they want to hear. You can instruct. You can edify them in the Word of God and teach them about the truth and about walking in pureness and thinking about things that are of good report and lovely and pure and virtuous and praiseworthy. But you can't change their reality. That's what they are experiencing by the thoughts they're having, by the actions they're taking on those thoughts, and however they're dealing with their heart. If they're letting it just be wild and free, which may sound good on the surface, but the reality is it's uncontrolled, it's undisciplined. It's lacking that self-control, that temperance that brings about good results. But you, my friend, focus on yourself first. It's like the old illustration, when the air mask dropped down on a plane, what does it tell you to do? The first thing is for you to get a mask on yourself. You don't put the mask on your child or elderly people around you first. You make sure that you're protected and enabled to then be able to help those people. Because if you're worried about them and trying to get them taken care of, not only will you not be able to take care of them, you won't be able to take care of yourself either. Get yourself focused. Get your heart pure and walking in the light and thinking about the things that are in the light. Thinking about things that are lovely. Thinking about things that are true, that are honest, that are just, that are pure, that are lovely, that are of good report, that are virtuous, that are praiseworthy. Think about those things, my friend, and watch as your life radically changes. Even things you thought that couldn't be changed, all of a sudden those mountains are removed. Think on these things, my friend. I pray this has been a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.